Hi, it's Ursula from ursula-smith.com, and I'm back with another quick tip. I showed you this card before. This was the case where I cut the inside of my mat out so that I can use it to make die cuts. I do that a lot when I'm scrapbooking, especially if I'm, matting big photos so I don't waste paper. But what made me think of it was I didn't have a lot of this paper, so I didn't want to use up, a big chunk of it for just matting purposes. But in any event, I forgot to talk about this print, and I know I've talked about this before. A lot of times, if I get a print, so in this case, this was a Gelli print made from the Gelli plate. A lot of times, if it's something that I like, I'll scan it in, and then I can even change the color. So in this case, the original print, which I've long since given away, it had a lot of reds and this mustard color and greens. It was a little more vibrant, and I wanted something a little more muted in this case. So in Photoshop, I just dulled it down, got rid of the red, and kept it. This was actually a dark muted green and then the mustard color. And then with my printouts, a lot of times I'll go over it with some kind of medium. And in this case, I used Distress Collage Medium, the Crayons version. And what that does, it gives it more of a hand-done look. I mean, it started out as handmade, but then it was printed, so adding the layer of medium over it just kind of gives it a little more texture, and it looks like it was handmade again. Again, in this case, I changed the colors. So it was pretty, but this middle part kind of was uninteresting, and you couldn't really see the crazing. So in this case, what I did was I used my favorite makeup brushes that I get on Amazon, and went over it lightly with antique linen. And then I still wanted more of the crazing to show up, so then I just used distressed crayon, scribbled it on, and then rubbed it in, just to get into the crazing. And some crayons blend into the distress medium a little bit easier than others. I'm trying to remember which color. So I used three. I used black soot, which did great. Antique linen, kind of up there. And then over here is a little bit of vintage photo, and that did not smooth as nicely, so I just kind of dampened my finger and kind of smoothed it in a little bit. So there's three different colors, and then the black soot really kind of darkened that green, which was nice. So anyway, that's a lot of times to take my printouts up a notch. I'll, like I said, go over it with medium. In this case, just adding a little bit of ink and crayon, again, brought it up even more. But then sometimes I'll go an extra step. So in this case, this started out, I believe, as a reverse distress resist technique that I've talked about before on my YouTube channel. And so I did the crazing as well, which it's pretty light. You can just kind of see it there. And I didn't go back in with the crayon because in this case I'm going to layer some things over it. Some of my die cuts, maybe some flowers, whatever. So I'm going to layer things over it. So I didn't want to spend a whole ton of time, but I did kind of punch it up with a little bit of paint splatters. And then I went over the edge with texture paste. I could dull this down if I wanted to bring crayon over it. Right here I did a little bit of crayon in chipped sapphire because that was really white, and layering the white cutout over it, it kind of blended in. So to blue it up, I just used a little bit of crayon there. If I wanted to, I could do the same thing over the texture paste if I didn't want it to stay white. I haven't decided yet I'll figure it out when I start really layering everything together and matting it and all that. So, and then I did the same thing on this card, a little bit less splatters. This actually had a lot of splatters in it, mostly because I had blown it up in Photoshop, and so the splatters were huge. And so what I did with those is I actually brought a little bit of texture medium over the white splotches as well. And there you can see kind of the crazing medium and the texture. And then on this one, I did a lighter spattering of paint, same texture medium on the edges, and then just a little bit of texture right here, kind of blending into the crazing. So anyway, 3 different ideas on just how to take a printout that started out handmade, but now it's an electronic printout. And so you can take it up a notch and make it still look handmade. And it still will have that kind of one-of-a-kind look to it, if you come back over and do, a couple of things on top. So in a lot of cases, if I have the time, I will come through and, in my craft room, you can just, you can just see, like, I'll have sheets of printouts that are just crazed, with the distress medium, and they're just drying. So then I can, when I'm ready, I can just cut them and add anything else I want to them. So anyway, hope you like that idea. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.